Immortals will put their name to the test.
Yes, indeed. The Bolts certainly put the name to the test. The juggernaut Colorado Avalanche lose their first game to the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning continue their streak at home. That's 7 in a row for the Bolts, baby. Home ice advantage continues to be a massive boost to most teams in the playoffs, including the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Colorado Avalanche. Looks like we have a little bit of a series on our hands, and we have so much to talk about in this video. Brayden Point was out. Ondrej Vasilevskiy is back. Kuemper chased from the net this time. Frankie is in. Kucherov is hurt. Will he be back? Fights. Josh Manson. Corey Perry hitting Kucherov. 6 goals. 2 for Landeskog. My goodness, do we have a lot to cover, including offside, but spoiler alert, I have no idea what offside is. We talked about this in the Oilers-Avs series. But either way, you know what we're going to do? We're going to talk about it.
Offside! Ever wonder why players stop in front of the blue line like it's an electric fence?
First things first, you got to talk about the return of Ondrej Vasilevskiy. You knew he was going to return again in this series. He got lit up. He was the kryptonite against the Avs, but the Tampa Bay Lightning, they gain more and more and more information, and the longer you play against them, the more the veterans tend to figure you out. We talked about this in our pre-series breakdown, that John Cooper's adjustment and the ability for the Bolts to adjust and the ability for Ondrej Vasilevskiy to have a very short memory and rebound is all well noted. So there we go. Vasilevskiy is back, starts it off with a massive toe save in the beginning of this game, and he never looks back. The only question to ask is Vasilevskiy going to continue to be this strong for the Tampa Bay Lightning? Is Tampa Bay and Vasilevskiy going to be able to take game 4 at home, because they need to split this series? All Colorado has to do is take 1 on the road, so they still have 1 more opportunity to do that. But if Vasilevskiy is going to remain hot, regardless of who's out, who's injured, this could be a tough series for the Colorado Avalanche, but it's only 1 game. And as my buddy Gannon says, there's a lot of hockey left to play. Are the Bolts better with or without Brayden Point? They're definitely better with Brayden Point. But like I talked about going into this series, Point definitely injured his hip. And I hear the hip is very important when it comes to skating and playing hockey. I'm not a doctor. Don't take any medical advice from me. But when he went out with that hip, I was surprised he was ever back. He ends up stepping out. The question that I don't know the answer to, and if you know down below, let me know in the comments. I couldn't find it in any of the media reports. Did he re-aggravate it, or is he pulling himself because he feels like he can't play at 100%? Either way, no Point, no problem for the Bolts again this game. That's how deep the Bolts are. So they seem to win without Brayden Point. So I get where the moniker is. Hey, are they better with or without Point? No, they're better with 100% Point. But sometimes putting in a player that's only at 60 or 70%, that can definitely hurt the team. So he's out of the game. Cirelli, Killorn, they step in on the second line again, along with Brandon Hagel, and that line does some damage. And boy, howdy, did Cirelli have a beautiful goal tonight, didn't he? What a nice rush, getting it done for himself. The Tampa Bay Lightning power play as well also finally showed up. Hello, people have been waiting for you. Welcome to the series. The Tampa Bay Lightning power play has entered the chat. The Colorado Avalanche were overwhelmed by the Bolts today, after the Bolts got their swagger back. So both teams now have overwhelmed the other. Both teams, I know Vasilevskiy didn't leave the net, but like he should have been pulled, have put up 6 or more goals, 6 and a 7 against each other. Both teams have shot their shot and shown why they're in the Stanley Cup Finals. But the Bolts power play showing up, and the Bolts' first line of Stamkos, Palat, and Kucherov, this line ends up showing why they are so good, why they're an elite line. Beautiful tic-tac-toe plays all game from these guys. Really nice job there by the Bolts. This game is also starting to get a little bit chippy, isn't it? Are we starting to get some memories, Colorado fans, of Detroit, Colorado, and the nastiness that was that series way back in the day? If you've never looked into it, you need to go look into this series. And look who came up. Watching the benches chirp each other, watching even Sergachev get involved in it, and Sergachev doesn't get involved in anything physical. Watching Maroon and O'Connor go at it, watching Colton and O'Connor go at it, watching Maroon and Helm go at it, basically watching Maroon and anybody go at it. Corey Perry's giving shots to the goalie. Josh Manson is running around laying massive hits all over the place. Are they legal or are they not? Doesn't matter. They didn't get called as penalties. Doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what you think. It's all part of the playoffs. It's all part of the gamesmanship. Nikita Kucherov comes back and lays a couple nasty hits to Manson himself, a few from behind. I've talked about it before.
He turns right
here. Boy, Cooch is a bit of a wiener. You got to be careful when that guy gets chippy and doesn't want to play hockey. He can do some damage physically. Mighty Mouse Nikita Kucherov has a bit of an edge, got a bit of an attitude problem, and he will go ahead and lay a couple hits that can be questionable, but he ends up getting away with it, and it is no problem because Devon Toews ends up taking care of him. Toews ends up putting him towards the wall, and I don't think it's the hit that caught him. It looks like to me, and we'll take a look at it shortly, it looks like to me he ends up toe picking a bit, and his knee ends up getting twisted and turned inside out. We can see that hit right here. Toews has his stick on the hips of Kucherov. That's just fine. There's nothing wrong with this. He's just steering him in, and as he's steering him in, yeah, he pushes down. I mean, you can say whatever you want about this. We teach defensemen to play one-on-ones this way when you're beat. You're just controlling the hips. You're trying to move them. So I don't see anything dirty about this by Devon Toews, but Kucherov definitely gets his skate caught up under Toews' skate there. And then as we go forward, you can see it's that little bend of the knee there. So I'm going to guess something happened on the inner ligament. He ends up straining it, something there. Like I said, not a doctor, but it's that left knee that ends up getting caught up. It's not the boards that he ends up going into. That looks really hard. But when you slow this down, to me, this doesn't look like a dirty hit by Toews. This just looks like what happens at full speed when players' skates hit the ice or cut into holes into the ice or just dig in with their edges. So it's kind of the way it goes. It's a really unfortunate turn of events here. I think this is just bad luck. I don't think it's purposeful. Kucherov would promptly leave the game at this point in time. We wouldn't get an update on him before the making of this video. So if there is an update, I'll go ahead. I'll smash it down below. I'll let you guys know down below what is going on. But at this point in time, I don't have any update on Kucherov's status. All we know is he's super tough. He tried to shift, took a shot, didn't like what he felt on his knee after he took a shot, so he headed back to the locker room. This is the way she goes in the playoffs. It's a battle of attrition. You give it, you got to give it as good as you can take it. So at the end of the day, injuries are going to happen. This is going to happen. This is what hockey players end up signing up for. Could be a really tough loss for the Bolts if he can't go next game. All right, Bolts and Avs fans, you know what to do. Go ahead, drop that thumbs up if you haven't already. Hit subscribe down below if you haven't. We just passed 10,000 subscribers. You guys are just, you're mind-blowing. Thank you very much. I'll give you the Nick Cage bow. If you haven't seen The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, please go see it. Fantastic movie, not sponsoring this. Just if you want a good time, what a great job. And then you'll understand what this means. But thank you so much for being on this channel. 10,000 people all the way strong. This has been a blast. Look, I just hit record and make some videos. It's all of you guys that end up watching this, commenting down below. And remember, when you comment down below, if you don't have anything to say, drop an emoji. It helps spread the video. I really appreciate it. Whatever you can say helps to those guys that like to drop 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes 10 comments, depends who it is. Again, another Nick Cage bow to you. I really appreciate it. I just hit record. You watch, you consume. If you weren't here, if you weren't loving it, if you weren't engaging, I wouldn't be here. So big thanks to all of you guys. I really appreciate it. And then a big thanks to my super fans that are here on the top. These are our members on our members page down below. So a big thanks to our executive suite members, Brown Tiger, Tasty Snack, Gannon, and Mick. You four are beauties. Big thanks to all of our lower bowl fans. They are progressing and moving through. They're collecting their badges. If you want to go ahead and join them and be a Pokemon trainer as well, just like they are, smash the join button down below. Vasilevskiy doing Vasilevskiy things here. Take a look at Cale Makar and what he is able to do with this puck, changing the angle against Ondrej Vasilevskiy. That puck comes over to Makar's stick. Makar fakes the slap shot, drags it, gets a better angle on it on the ice, and then he's going to end up throwing this one just towards the net. He is beautiful. He is silky smooth. He is Cale Makar. It bounces off 100 people, more like 2 people, takes a path like this, hits Vasilevskiy's glove, drops down below, and then ends up squirting out down below for the Avs player. There's nothing you're going to be able to do on D-zone like this. It's like playing Plinko. It's like pinball. Take a look at how much daylight is open here at this point in time, and Vasilevskiy makes an absolutely amazing, heroic post-to-post save, stopping it with his toe. Great job by Vasilevskiy. That sets the tone for the game, especially off of a Cale Makar shot. The first goal of the game was disallowed on a great challenge by Jon Cooper. You can see here there's a little bit of white under this puck here. So the referees, after what feels like an eternity, end up ruling that the puck right here is indeed offside, and it was an excellent challenge here by Jon Cooper. I fully agree with this one. You heard me say when the Avs play the Oilers, I no longer understand what offside is. I don't try to get into the nuances of this, but to me, this one looks really clear, really simple. It was a really good job challenging by Jon Cooper. And no matter what you do, people aren't going to be happy about this. I always understood the rule very plain as day that you couldn't wait and delay to video review the call yourself. If your video coach was too slow, it was too bad, too sad. But the referee gives Jon Cooper what feels like 1:20 to 2 minutes to review the video himself before Cooper basically throws the flag. It's not a real flag, but it's the only metaphor I got. And that challenge ends up proceeding. I really did think you had to challenge that quicker, but they don't. Maybe it's because it's the playoffs. Maybe because they want to get the call right. They want to give a coach a chance to do that. But I thought that was a little bit funny. However, there's been a lot of things that have happened funny in this playoffs. I always thought it was a little bit funny too when Darcy Kuemper got an extra 3 minutes to come out into the game when he was injured against the Oilers there, and there was no penalty for delay of game, and they didn't have to start Francouz. So there's been a lot of grace that has been handed to both teams. I understand one's a challenge, one's a goalie. Sure, they're different, Ryan, but if you're going to enforce the rules, you got to enforce them right to the line. There seems to be a lot of gray in the NHL. They give Cooper a lot of gray to work with there, and he takes his runway and he makes a successful challenge, and it helps up swinging that momentum for the Bolts. Actual goal one is going to stick here by Gabriel Landeskog. Cale Makar moves it over to Landeskog here in the corner, but take a look. Sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Nathan MacKinnon is way far back in the end of your screen. Why are they going to do this? Because you want to drop pass so you can hit the zone with speed. So Makar moves it over to Landeskog. Landeskog knows MacKinnon is there. This is clearly a sit play. He ends up hitting Nathan MacKinnon deep in the zone, and when you hit MacKinnon deep in the zone, you're going to get nothing but speed from MacKinnon. So MacKinnon puts on the afterburners. He ends up entering the zone, makes a beautiful little bump pass out there, pushes forward, which pushes Cernak back. Landeskog's going to end up regrouping this back to Cale Makar. Cale Makar is going to end up taking this puck now from the top of the blue line, and he's going to end up widening the zone. So really nice zone entry there by the Avs. Drop passes, force teams to back into the zone. That allows you to take space when you're entering the zone. That allows you to set up on the power play. Now Makar is going to end up walking the line. Like we said, he moves his feet first, then his hands, then his head. That's what you got to do. He ends up moving that puck from the left side over to the right side. And you can see this is why players tend to move the puck to their forehand. This is technically off his backhand. Yes, this is a forehand pass, but a forehanded pass would actually be more down to the left side because he's a righty. He has to take 2 steps to open it up to move it over here to the right. That action gives the defense or the Bolts a little bit of additional time to set up on the penalty kill. Doesn't matter though, because he ends up moving it to that side. And now it is Mikko Rantanen who is going to take just a beauty shot here on Vasilevskiy. And all you're going to see is the big box out here by number 92. Landeskog gets in there. He's going to go ahead and bang home the junk. What I don't like about this is Erik Cernak actually has to step in on this one, and he needs to take this post. You can't sit here on the back end like this, so you have you're doing no good with what you're doing right now if you're Cernak. I don't know if it's because Landeskog is just a bigger, tougher, or maybe the biggest, toughest power winger in the league right now, but that is absolutely useless by the Bolts there. Landeskog gets to push it in behind Ondrej Vasilevskiy. This is definitely 100% not goalie interference. That puck is there. It is available to be played. Great skate in by MacKinnon. Great pass by Makar. Great shot by Rantanen. Amazing finish by Landeskog. Bolts power play here was looking atrocious, so Anthony Cirelli says, YOLO, I'm going to do this by myself, take it end to end. Devon Toews with a monster slap shot here on net that is going to end up bouncing out to the right corner. You've heard me say this, 200% likelihood that you're going to end up scoring when you don't score on one end of the net. So the Bolts are going to end up turning this one around. That puck kicks out, and for some reason, when you miss high and wide or you get a rebound like this, the puck ends up it just ends up killing you. And if you want to wonder why that puck ended up going out so far, it wasn't just the hard shot here by Toews, but take a look at this. Bang, that puck goes out. That is because goalie pads these days are actually designed to do it. So if the puck kicks out to like one of your favorite players on his stick or something like that, these pads these days have now been designed to kick rebounds out super far. They used to be designed to deaden the puck, make sure the puck lays somewhere right here and doesn't spring out as far. But what they found out is that these pucks were being banged into the net at a higher frequency. So they ended up changing the material on the pads so the puck ends up kicking out farther. So this is just an invention of technology. Let's wait to see if it ends up getting the Nerf one of these days. That puck ends up in the corner. You're going to see Killorn and Cirelli pick up the puck. Cirelli doesn't even need Killorn's help. He's just going to go ahead, take the puck himself. He's going to go end to end. He sees Patrick Maroon and he goes, okay, I'll bump it over to Maroon. And what the key is to this quick little bump over to Maroon is that he drives the mid lane. That ends up pushing back both these Colorado Avalanche, which is exactly what you want to be able to do. The Avs have perfect defense here in terms of the position they're going to have, but Cirelli's just going to beat them. And that was just sick. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this has been a lot in these playoffs. What a beautiful, look at this. He drags his foot back and ends up kicking it up to his stick. I've seen a lot of foot passes here in hockey, but I have not seen one like this before that I can recall. Really nice job. So he ends up pushing it over to his stick. He gets Corral a handle on the puck. And then as he's coming in, I can't tell if he's trying to drag this wide and he misses it, or if he ends up purposely putting it through the 5-hole here of Darcy Kuemper. I think this is purposeful. I think this is all skill at this point in time. So we go back, we watch it in real speed, and I think he purposely left it there. I think he was trying to trick the goalie instead of walking around. I think that was a goal scorer's goal. I think that was nifty. I think it was shifty, and I love everything that Cirelli did on this play. It's not a power play marker, but he was clearly sick of not scoring at this point in time. Really nice job there by Cirelli. Nice bump out there to Maroon. Not much you're going to be able to do here as the Avs. This is just a player beating you. Face-offs matter at all ends of the ice. The Avs end up winning this face-off in the Bolt zone, and they get the puck back up here to Devon Toews. Devon Toews now has control of this puck, and what you need to see here is you need to see the Bolts moving up and closing the gap here on these defensemen, and you need to take a look at Steven Stamkos. He's your puck support guy here. Your puck support guy has to be careful not to go too high up into the play, but as soon as he sees that turnover, you're going to want to leave the zone. So Toews ends up picking up the puck, and what you can see here is the puck actually isn't flat. It's sitting on its side. So because it's sitting on his side, he wants to go D to D, which is super safe because he's got a lot of gap here. But a rolling puck, this just happens. It goes, it has a mind of its own. That rolling puck ends up moving into a really unfortunate spot. It gets a little bit of air there, and because it gets a little bit of air, the Bolts are able to intercept the pass, and they're off to the races. Now what you see here is a 2-on-2, and as a 2-on-2, you want to go ahead and you want to step up. This is not good gap here by Makar and by Toews, so they're a little bit frazzled, and when you see bad gap, you're going to cross. But you don't want to cross before the blue line. You actually want to cross and dump the pass as you cross over the blue line. So let's see how they go ahead and do it here. It looked like they were going to cross before the blue line, but nope, they are well coached. They are too good. They end up pushing it in. Now you've pushed them below the blue line and you have this little amount of gap to work with, but it is enough gap. And it's enough gap because we talk about a stick length of gap. Well, take a look. They're more than a stick length away. If you kind of move this stick over to here, they have inches to play with, and this is a game of inches. So you end up making this drop pass. Take a look. The drop pass, they don't move it. They just leave it. So he continues skating, fakes it, doesn't make the drop pass. Loved that. Absolutely a huge fan. Ends up creating more time and space here for Palat. So now you have Makar and Toews who are really rattled. They're expecting a drop. I'm expecting a drop. You're expecting a drop. And Palat tricks everybody. Kucherov right here is going to continue driving the mid lane as he needs to drive the mid lane. And then our puck support guy that we were talking about, Steven Stamkos, well, he's going to come in late right here. And now what you're going to see is the actual drop pass. So he goes ahead, he leaves it. And remember, drop passes, you don't pass it, you just leave the puck. As soon as he leaves that drop, you're causing more gap, more problems. Kucherov has come wide and he's looking to hit the back post here. Palat is going to swing out to the far side. These are just very creative, very talented plays by Tampa Bay. Stamkos ends up carrying it down wide, makes a beautiful pass through the legs there, finds Palat in the slot. There is nothing Kuemper is going to do about that. At the end of the day, if you want to break down this play, it's offensive creativity and it's skill by the offense. An unfortunate bouncing puck there by Toews, but the defenseman could have managed that and stopped that by making sure they had better gap before the blue line. You got a 2-on-2, step up before the blue line. They didn't. They were unable to. They got caught flat-footed. They got crossed twice. Even though there was only one drop pass, they were crossed twice. When you cross as forwards, quick little cross like that, it is going to go in the back of the net. It is a deadly play. It's a practice play. We love working on that in practice. It's a super fun drill to do. Any drill with crossing and working on defensive gap that way, super beneficial for teams. So really nice job by the Bolts. Nick Paul hurts his knee, so Nick Paul scores a goal. Why not, right? So he comes back, and this is what you're going to see. We talk about dump-ins all the time or zone entry all the time. You end up winning a draw, but you end up losing it technically. Like, I don't know how you want to look at it, but either way, it's not good because the puck ends up leaving the zone. But instead of causing a turnover here, what you end up doing is making what we call a hard dump-in or a slap shot or a wide dump-in. So you're going to hit it as hard as you can around the boards, hope that the goalie behind the net doesn't stop it, and then you're going to have Corey Perry, who is going to come here and he's going to go wide and he's going to try to pick up that loose puck. And that's what ends up leading to the goal here for the Bolts. So we see him just absolutely hammer that one in. It ends up going around. It's going wide. Corey Perry stays on side. We've got an Avalanche down there. Perry's in on the forecheck. He's got baby strides, tiny little strides, but great player. He gets in on that forecheck, and what you see is a missed reverse. We call this play a reverse, and this is really smart by Corey Perry. Corey Perry takes the reverse away almost in a little bit of an interference way. So Manson ends up picking up this puck. He's going to go behind the net. He's got three options as a defenseman. Option one is to go D to D, and that's what he should end up doing here right now. But take a look. He's got his head up on a swivel. He notices his player isn't ready for the puck, so he doesn't use option one. Option two is to turn quick up the boards like this, and it's called a quick up. Quick up just means you're going to go up the boards as fast as you can, and you're either going to skate the puck or you're going to pass the puck up. Well, he's already shoulder checked, and he knows he has nothing going this way. So he's got nothing this way. He's got nothing this way. So he's going to use option three, which is called the reverse. A reverse means you're going to carry the puck 3 steps behind the net, and you're going to bank it off the boards so your partner can pick it up and go up the ice here. Corey Perry knows all about the reverse. We practice plays that stop this, and we practice plays to make this work. Take a look at Corey Perry tying him up. He just gets a stick on him. He gets a stick on him enough that the referee right here, he's taking a look at it. He doesn't call this as a penalty, although this is interference and this is cheating within the rules. We said Tampa Bay is very good at it. Take a look at Josh Manson, makes that reverse. Darren Helm ends up getting held up. Perry gets a 2-for-1. So now you have 3 Colorado Avalanche trapped down below, all because of Corey Perry. That is how effective this guy ends up being. Then you end up picking up the puck behind the net if you're Ross Colton, and as you pick up the puck, nobody can recover because you had 3 players out of position. Nick Paul is going to pick up that puck. It's going to cross the road, and you're going to end up beating him. But this is all about the nuances of the reverse. This is all about Josh Manson, and this is all about Corey Perry. So Nick Paul ends up scoring. Beauty goal by the injured Nick Paul there. We'll see how he is feeling for next game, but great job, great veteran presence by the Bolts. Power play time here by the Avs. The Avs make this a game by making this 3-2. Look, change the record. You got to see this coming. Look, there's the drop pass again. Like I said, who's back here? Nathan MacKinnon. So that drop pass ends up happening. This is clearly the most set of set zone entries here for the Colorado Avalanche. If it's broke, don't fix it. They leave it to MacKinnon, who just ends up picking up massive speed here. Everybody has to back in due to the speed of MacKinnon. And what does he do? He bumps it out wide. Wow, does this not just seem exactly like the last play, just on the separate boards? He ends up bumping it out wide to Mikko Rantanen. And look who is over here. It is Cale Makar. It's always Cale Makar, Rantanen, MacKinnon, and Landeskog. They are always doing these types of zone entries, and you want to score on zone entry. You don't want to go ahead and over set up in the zone. So what you see here is that puck moves over to Rantanen, who ends up moving it around the boards to Cale Makar. Now Cale Makar is going to go ahead and widen the zone or put a puck on net. He's got 2 options here. He's going to take whatever he feels is the best one here in order to generate a goal. He thinks it is going over to Gabe Landeskog, who is going to step in from the top of the circle and just absolutely snipe it in on Vasilevskiy. Too many angle changes there for Vasilevskiy. Not much the Bolts are going to be able to do. If the Bolts want to stop this goal, they got to stop this guy right here from getting all this speed and entering the zone. They're going to have to find a way to clog up the blue line as they're moving down the ice. It is easier said than done, and you can see how speed kills on this one. Just look how far back all the Bolts are already. So they had to retreat into their zone. That ends up causing a goal. Both times, both goals that go in on the Bolts, it's because of the speed of the Avs on the power play. Stammer, Cooch, Bogo on this play. Look, they're doing their best Nathan MacKinnon impersonation. They say anything you can do, we can do just as good, if not better. Kucherov ends up bumping it out over here to his partner, and he continues skating down the ice. That goes ahead and frees up space. As his partner ends up seeing the puck, he just puts a little flip shot in on net. I love that shot. I think that's brilliant. Just put junk on net, see what happens. Kucherov ends up beating him to the puck. That's massive. Nikita picks up that puck, wins the battle down low, ends up sneaking it through here to Steven Stamkos. These are set and not set. This is skill, and this is just players knowing where to go and how to make offense happen. Stammer ends up opening up, sniping it there on Darcy Kuemper to make it 4 goals. Kemper's night is not done yet, but all about Kucherov and Stamkos here. Just like goal 3, this is just skill beating out the defense of the Avs. Pat Maroon ends up providing the killing goal here. That's the one that ends up getting Kuemper to leave the net, but take a look at this terrible drop pass there by Cernak. Cernak ends up trying to leave the puck here for Nikita Kucherov. Good thing Kucherov is fast. Kucherov comes up to get it. Great forecheck here by the Avs, staying with Kuch. Kuch has just got too much speed, and then he's going to end up regrouping it over here to Victor Hedman. However, Victor Hedman gets his pocket picked really quickly here right now. You got to keep your head on a swivel for things like this. They don't. I'm surprised this didn't end up turning into a goal, but this is just Victor Hedman's reach, and look at Nikita Kucherov covering ice. He makes quite the skate in order to come all the way over here in order to help and back up his teammates here. So he's playing good defense here. He's all over the ice flying. The puck ends up going down low, and it is going to be Ondrej Vasilevskiy who ends up just making a simple little pass out here to Victor Hedman, who stretches the entire ice for Pat Maroon. As you are stretching that ice, you'll notice that the Avs are getting a bit of a change. Now you have a 2-on-1 down low here, and Pat Maroon is just going to go ahead and put this puck in to Darcy Kuemper. You end up seeing a nice drop pass here to Kucherov. He's all over the ice on this shift. Massive job by Kuch. Maroon picks up that puck down below. There's no reason he should be able to score from here, but he does. He ends up jamming it in short side above Kuemper. That would be the end of Kuemper's night. Pat Maroon's 21st playoff Stanley Cup Finals game. 21st game in the finals for Pat Maroon. That's more playoff games than some career NHLers have, and this is just the finals. All this guy does is win Stanley Cups, but you got to tell me who's going to win. Is it Pat Maroon's 4th Stanley Cup that ends up winning if you're superstitious, or is it Corey Perry's inability to win a Stanley Cup and he becomes a 3-time finalist? Let me know down below in the comments. After that, Corey Perry ends up popping in a power play goal, and that would be the end of it. We've talked enough about the Bolts power play. We've broken down enough goals here this game. I want to know who you think is going to take game 4. I want to know if you think Kucherov, if Nick Paul are going to be okay by next game. Yes, Nazem Kadri is traveling with the team. Yes, he may be able to play, but like I said, going into this series, I didn't trust Brayden Point's hip injury. I do not trust Nazem Kadri's thumb injury. You can go ahead and you can cast it, but a thumb is a very important piece to this game. You cannot stick handle with a thumb when you're a left-handed shot. He is a left-handed shot, meaning his right hand on his stick. He needs that thumb in order to stick handle. Yes, you could do it with 4 fingers. There have been a lot of guys who have reached out saying, no, I don't use my thumb for that. I roll it in my wrist or I roll it in my palm. I use my 4 fingers to stick handle. But you know what? I still think you need that thumb to be effective. We'll end up seeing, because he has to have some protection on it. If it was surgically repaired, he can't take a slash to it right now, so a glove isn't going to do it. We'll end up seeing who comes back. There's a lot of guys who are out. We got Burakovsky, we got Kadri, Girard's not coming back. Kuemper was pulled, Vasilevsky's hot, Kucherov is hurt, Nick Paul was hurt. We got game 4 coming in Tampa Bay. We will see you here Wednesday for game 4. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you haven't already yet. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you check out some of our other channels, some of our other videos where we're not just breaking down goals. Let's go ahead and talk about the Milan Lucic story or find out the state of the Boston Bruins today. All right, thanks team. We'll catch you later.